Searchers, The Phantom Bookshelf by J.S. Moore. We're reading the paperback version. Recently, the hardcover was released. It's available on Amazon.com, and currently it's on the bestseller list for Trickster Tales. All right. Searchers, The Phantom Bookshelf. History is a set of lies agreed upon by Napoleon Bonaparte. This is written by one of the Inklings. His name is Lively Thorne. Alice asked the Cheshire Cat, who was sitting in a tree, "What road do I take?" And the cat asked, "Where do you want to go?" "Well, I don't know," answered Alice. "And then," said the cat, "it really doesn't matter, does it?" That's from Lewis Carroll, Through the Looking Glass. All right. When the great creator entrusted me with the unique task of watching over Tiber Hastings, I knew that of all my many experiences during my existence, this mission was somehow very extraordinary. Once charged with my distinct assignment, the instructions really sank in of what I would be doing. I would miss my aimless traveling and observing, but could trade my uncertain future for my proper role amongst the hosts. My name is Sophie, by the way, and though I have no halo over my head or wings behind my shoulders, I am what many people might call an angel. You may be asking yourself how this is. Well, I must tell you that I was once a mortal like you. But I was killed in a horrific accident that was not a part of the great Creator's plan. Thus, my spirit was lingered in limbo for some while. I became a watcher to the world for what seemed many days, and then months, and most certainly years. Now, this was not my choice, honestly. I was never truly given a choice. Under these circumstances, I had time to see how people really are. And mostly, people are not so good, even children. You see, I could follow anyone anywhere, except perhaps inside their minds or hearts. I could pass through walls, fences, or any inanimate objects. Trees, animals, people, no. Perhaps I was an apparition without form, sort of a floating consciousness, for I was never seen, or at least no one ever seemed to see or hear me, except for cats. They sometimes hissed at me, but other times they desired my attention as well. I had no form as a hovering consciousness, not even a vapor or smoke in a mirror. The cats just seemed to feel my presence, and I may never know why only felines were attuned to my existence, but nothing else was. Now, during my unfortunate condition as a confused observer, I finally stopped counting the days and nights that were passing by as I witnessed my friends and relations grow older and eventually die off, some by misfortune or an accident, some by natural causes, and some even by their own hand. And finally, I stopped believing I'd be welcoming them into my own new world. I was alone, very alone. So I detached myself from what once was familiar to me, and I journeyed far away from there, where I could watch the lives unfold of complete strangers. My situation was not the normal plight that someone may consider when thinking about what happens when they die. Before the accident, and while I was quote-unquote alive, I was taught the black and the white, heaven and hell, about there being an afterlife, so I naturally began to question my faith. Why did this happen to me, I wondered? Where do I go from here? Wars were fought, and I witnessed the planning of them in the closed offices, the secret lodge meetings, and then upon the battlefields themselves. But amongst the dead there came no spirits to join me. I was still alone, a mere watcher to the world and work of men. But then one day, I began to pray. The first time I really prayed, I think. It was a sunless morning at first, but then a glow came cresting the far hillside ahead of me, and I heard a whisper. And then my surroundings became illuminated, and it blinded me. The whisper was directed at me. I was a watcher, so I had no eyes to close and no arms to shield my vision, but all I could see was this energy or this light. Wait! The whisper was directed at me. With instructions and clarity, this voice detailed my new mission. I cannot share those exact words with you now, but I can tell you that the bright light faded away quite suddenly, and I found myself in a hospital room. I was a watcher again, except I had my human form back, and someone could see me. That someone giggled, and their gaze reached out to me in wonderful joy. That someone wasn't quite 2 years old, and he was lying with his little arms restrained on a hospital bed, happy to have some company. And that is the beginning chapter to Lively Thorne's Searchers, The Phantom Bookshelf. Stay tuned for chapter 2 the next time I read to my little boy.